Here's a term that won't be familiar to a lot of people: constructive anguish. And constructive anguish, or at least the way that I interpret it, some worrying can be good. Some. It's when you overthink, over-worry, over-invest in an outcome. See, some constructive worrying will enable you to be nervous enough that you'll take it seriously. You can sometimes look at sports teams, and if you sometimes get a surprise result where you get a team at the top of the league, top of the table, and then you get a bottom table team. One is all consumed with the outcome, and the other one isn't giving it a thought. So one turns up preparing for battle, preparing for the fight, and the other team just turned up, the outcome's inevitable. And they get turned over, they get a surprise loss, and this little minnow team gets a surprise win. It's a David and Goliath story. And the underdog story. But really, it's one mindset versus the other. One mindset's become too relaxed. Another mindset had maybe constructive anguish. We know we're going to lose, but what if we put up a fight? We know we should get battered, but what if we just dig in for a small loss? But our pride is there. We're expected to be turned over. We're expected to be trodden into the ground, destroyed. We're supposed to lose before we even walk on the pitch and put up a fight. Well, what if we just have some constructive anguish and we just decide to, let's put up a fight. Let's not even put up a fight. Let's just stand our ground and see what happens. Let's not roll over just because we're supposed to. Let's not quiver in fear just because they've walked onto the pitch and we're supposed to hide in the darkness of their shadow. What if we do just stand our ground? We'll just hold our place. What if we just do that long enough? We test their mettle. We test their resolve. But they've been sleeping in silk pajamas and silk sheets. They haven't carried their own bag for a millennia. They don't know the feeling of carrying. They've not carried fear for a long time. And you're not a top tier team. So they don't expect anything other than the status quo. They don't realise that an upset can be any day of the week on any given Sunday. And that's how you should look at worrying. Constructive anguish. It's okay to worry enough that you want a good result. But don't worry that you fold before the test. Don't worry that you fold before you've even struck a ball against the opposition. You worry so much you failed the test, failed the exam, lost the game the night before, the week before. How about you just decide, do you know what? Come what may, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to be sturdy. I'm going to stand strong. I'm going to stand upright. I am here. This is me. I may not be the best you've ever seen, but I'm good enough to stand my ground. I'm good enough to stand upright and straight, shoulders back, chin up, chest out. Let's just see how sharp their metal is. Maybe it's been blunted by their arrogance and ego. Maybe that exam only has a few questions beyond my knowledge. What if 85% of it is all up here already, and it could be a breeze? What if you just scrape past with the bare minimum? You've passed and you've achieved what you needed. Sometimes the greatest successes is the difference between half a yard and a point. But that team carries the trophy home. That team is on the team bus, celebrating and tears of joy. Not because of the big margin, but because the ball went an inch over the line. Because they only needed an inch. They only just needed enough. And when the final whistle blew, they won the game. Well, that can be you in any moment in life. Are you worrying about the big moment when you haven't even scraped over the line? Because scraping over the line is all you need for a win. And everybody only remembers the wins. So, constructive anguish is sometimes understanding, overthinking, over worrying is going to cost you, when all you really need to do is focus on scraping over the line. Sometimes to win the war, you just have to focus on the battles one at a time. So, overthinking, over worrying. Consider some constructive anguish, enough to motivate you to take it seriously, to do your best. And on any given day, on any given Sunday, your best is always all you can give. And that's always enough.